I'm sorry, can you say that?
So, I know you mentioned generator. And so we have these type of services that will be potentially great as far as so they won't be safety hazards. They haven't exercised them or brought them out and tried to start them up or anything like that. Is there any way we can go in the city to assist us with that?
So I wouldn't say that there's like an official program per se, but I would say that a lot of our firefighters at the fire stations around the city are very well versed in generator operations, big and small. And typically, they won't turn you down if you have a question about that type of thing. Again, there's no official program, but they're going to be more than happy to help you on this.
Yeah, maybe just call Dave.
You can call Dave, email me, I have 2 generators that I have to keep ready.
Because we do the parade.
You're putting gas stabilizer your fire. You store gas, stabilizer. There's ways to store gas.
Yeah. No, and I'm just saying for folks that just feel really uncomfortable after, because like they come with like huge manuals, right? And then if you Google different directions, sometimes you get different results, right? And so that's why I'm not going to say that there's an official program per se, but like you said, if you feel comfortable already with the operations of using a generator, yeah, by all means. Just in terms of the city, I just want to recommend our fire friends. Yeah.
It's some food for thought. Maybe there should be a program. So people get generators if you are over.
Yeah, no, so it's a list. No, I understand.
Everybody knows every generator.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a really important topic, and this might be one of those things where later on we might add it to the website. For I think we had a FAQ kind of thing by disaster, and certainly a generator is one of those topics that can be added on, so no problems. Yeah.
And Dave's on the board of OPA, so he knows just about everything. He helps for the parade and make music using generators and all during the year.
I appreciate that.
I could turn the
No. I appreciate that. However, not everybody's in the hope.
I know.
We got different, I'm talking about for the entire city.
Yeah, well, I understand that.
Because everybody can't get to. He's one person. If everybody in the city starts calling him,
No, we don't want that.
I don't think he wants to do that.
We don't want that.
But if it's a short-term thing, he's here for it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Cool. Thanks for making time today, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, next speaker is Erica Leslie, the Rent Control Commission Chair, also Ocean Park resident. Thank you for coming and everything, and I'll hand the floor over to you to talk a little bit about some of what you're working on, priorities, and see if people have questions.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Got a question for you. How many of you know what the current rent is for a 2-bedroom?
$2,600. The average or like the rent quote?
No. This is the average. What do you think the average?
I'll just read that.
We're just gonna bring it on the live.
This is not necessarily my job per se, but something that I've kept track of prior to me joining the rent control. Our highest rent in Santa Monica is $16,000. That's market rate a month. That's for an apartment. Our lowest is $2,600.
That's the lowest?
That's the lowest.
Market rate, right?
Rent control or market rate, either or, $2,600. And the reason why I bring this up, because you have to stop and think, you have to move out of your apartment, how much would that cost you? And I think it's something that people don't necessarily keep in touch with. we're kind of out of touch if you own a home, you don't think that that matters to you. So it's not something that you keep abreast of. But everyone has either a niece, a nephew, a grandson, or, kids that eventually will have to move out. This is the reason why rent control board is so important. We also, as we had a rent increase, we capped it at last year at 3%. So, and some of our tenants, our rent control tenants, I should say, have been overcharged. So I encourage people to call the rent control board and get your rent back down to where it needs to be. Put your own money. And right about now, as high as inflation is, and everybody I see, my neighbors are not necessarily shopping here in Santa Monica. The things are too high. I also have to mention, even though I'm not here to talk about downtown Santa Monica, I'm also on that board as well. And how this is correlated is that if our rents are high and people don't have disposable income, we can't patronize the offices and buildings that are nearby that are restaurants, are retail stores. And so it's a matter of time, as people don't have the disposable income, they no longer patronize these businesses. So that's how it's correlated. Is we keep our rents low and our expenses low. That's how we can all thrive. So people don't necessarily understand that. And also, as we have our renters protections that have lapsed. So now you don't have those COVID-19 protections and the renters incentives, it's no longer available. So we are seeing uptick at the very least of our unhoused people. And my board members on downtown Santa Monica want to arrest our way out, which is not the case. We need more, unfortunately, and I know this is not a popular concept, subject, we need more affordable housing. As we are talking about rents up to $16,000. We can afford $16,000 a month. Oh, excuse me. $16,000 a month, but right about now.
Well, a really nice car.
Take us to Disneyland too. It's highly expensive right now. And you have to stop and think, as these rents were established during the time that we had a lot of Silicon Valley tech workers here. No one is paying attention to the fact that 1,900 of them have been recently laid off. 1,900 people, and some of those are parents. That affects our school system as well. Because as they're laid off, they no longer have the same means to donate to the ed fund, no longer can go and patronize these businesses, no longer can, contribute to the economy here in Santa Monica. We have a lot of work to do to help our neighbors. We also have to look at the current rate of our rents right now in different areas. Our highest rents are in Ocean Park and downtown Santa Monica.
Ocean Park.
Yeah, Ocean Park. Believe it or not, our report will come out on Thursday, full annual report. I'm just giving you little snippets, little tidbits here and there. I can't give you the full thing before we do our annual report. We've hired a new executive director. Tracy Condon has retired after 35 years of service. And I hope you all had a chance to see her before she left. She was definitely a dynamo for 35 years. A lot of neighboring cities contacted Tracy to learn how to start rent control in their cities. We've lost 35 years of institutional knowledge that she's retired, but she's still within our city. And I'm hoping that she'll come, still kind of interact a little bit with some of our tenants and our neighbors. This will be as a help. Amen. We also are starting to look at more diversity. From day one, since day one that I got on the rent control board, I was most interested in communicating in people's languages where they understood. Because I don't think that it's fair that our Spanish-speaking neighbors or our Ethiopian neighbors or our neighbors that speak Farsi don't have literature that is in their language where they can fully understand what's going on. And as people are subject to things that are taking place in a restaurant, you're stressed out, and you need to fully understand. You can't comprehend as well when you're stressed. So that's something that we've been working on over the past year. Also, as far as things that you can deduct and get a decrease of, my board commissioners and I have established a higher percentage for what you can get. Like as far as with your lights being out or your gas stop working. These things were not increased over the last 10 years at the very least. So those numbers and decreased numbers have been increased. That's just a few of the things that we've been working on. And I'm not a long-winded person. I don't sit up and go on and on. But if you have any questions for me, I would gladly take some.
Mark.
I had some problems with some neighbors on the rent control issues. And on rent control, the city, down in the city, I didn't get much response. So I went to a person on the rent control board, and they really got things moving. And so the rent control board is a little strange board. It's an elected board, it's not like the other boards. It's what's your advice is, should you go to somebody with rent control board, or should you try the city? What do you think they should go to the rent control board?
It depends on what you're calling us for.
It's a pretty simple case. Somebody's trying to make them.
Well, so what I would say is that prior to you getting into litigation, call us first. If you know things are sliding down the slope, call us before it starts to get to litigation.
I was just looking at whether it's better to go to the city rent control board itself, or go talk to a board member.
It will be better because we need to document it to call into our rent control board. Not so much that you can't come to us, but it's better to get it documented first.
I was saying what happened in my case was the rent control itself didn't do anything.
Did you contact us prior to litigation or after?
No litigation. Some of my neighbors were threatened with being evicted. And so they went to the city, and the city pretty much went blah, 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 we'll call you back, we'll call you back. And so then we went and contacted the person on the rent control board, almost who that person was, and they lit a fire. The next thing you know, the city attorney and everybody in the world told this landlord to get it down. And so it just seems it's much better to go to the rent control board than to go to the city.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like we're doing it.
So
It was effective.
it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're referring to harassment.
Somebody bought the property and told the tenants they couldn't move out.
Yeah, that's real nice. So, yeah, that would be referred to us first, rather than contacting the city, but also the city attorney, city needs to be involved with that as well. So it will be both. Any other? Yes.
Yeah, a couple days ago, there was a phone thing and you were on it and some other Santa Monica activists about a ballot initiative.
You talk about justice for renters.
Yeah, can you talk a little about that maybe?
So there is a ballot on the November ballot, will come up justice for renters. And it's about statewide rent control. So local jurisdictions can be in control and decide how much rent control they want to have or how little they want to have in comparison to the state has a ban on. It's basically the repeal of a cost of law. Okay? Yes. That's what that was in regards to. Yes.
I think, John, you had your hand up.
So, for a lot of us in Ocean Park, housing is really important. So, for a number of the reasons that you mentioned, and we look around, we see $5 million houses next door to rent control department. Was wondering, what your thoughts are on the housing issue that's in front of Santa Monica. you need more against multifamily and single family neighborhoods? Could you give us a little understanding of that?
So, we do need more affordable housing, not the 16,000 a month housing. And I know that there's a lot of debacle about the Gelson's project. In regards to that being affordable market rate, it's, the certain very things is difficult when you have a big project and only 10% of it is affordable. That's not gonna help us.
Right.
It doesn't help us at all. We need more properties and more projects where it's more like 100% affordable for us to reach our arena numbers.
So I happen to know a decent amount about housing, I'm sure you understand. So a lot of that has to do today with finance on city-owned property. And across the street from us, well, down on the other side of Ocean Park, are the Main Street parking that are zoned for 55 feet. That easily could be 100 people, depending on how things work, all for low-income housing. And I think a lot of us are a little concerned about how the housing seems to be in areas like ours and not in areas like north of Montana. That's why my question went back. I asked a bit about, I did not try to understand your answer. Do we need more housing at all income levels? This low income housing, where should it go? Could you tell us a little bit about?
When you, for the most part, when you contact community court, we do have all different levels of housing. We don't just have affordable housing. They say that market rate is affordable. I don't know who that is, but as things are like the cost of building properties or units is going up, the cost of materials is going up, so therefore the cost of the rents are going up. So what is labeled as affordable, we are hearing from some community members that it's not. But right now, $100,000 is low income. Whether anybody has, $100,000 is low income now. That's how much inflation. So did I answer your question?
Hard to say, I'm sure we'll have fun.
Okay.
Just a gentle person asking.
Okay.
Nick, you have a question?
Yeah, could you talk a little bit about what the official role is of the rent control board? I know I hear different things when I'm out talking to people about what the rent control board can do, what its powers are, what its kind of stated role is versus some of the other departments. Just a little excited about here.
Okay, so the rent control board, we are over your unit while you're in it. We help you with your rental unit issues while you're within your unit. When you're out of your unit, if you were unjustly put out of your unit, then we have a little gray area. Just a little. Depends on if it's a legal eviction or not. So for the most part, it's while you're in. If you're having an issue with your heating, your issue with your flooring, if you have an issue as far as, like they say you don't have parking, but you do have parking, or if they take your parking away, or if they take away certain things or amenities that you have within your tenancy, those are things that we have jurisdiction over. Now, as far as litigation, we don't have jurisdiction over that. Yes.
So here's a hypothetical quick situation. If you're living in a place but you're not on the lease, but there's a main leaseholder, they're on a lease, it's a rent control department. Is there some time after which you can sort of forcibly put yourself on the lease, or is it always this is a totally hypothetical.
Asking for a friend. How long is this hypothetical situation going on?
I mean, it maybe years. It could be years that you're living in a place that is sort of just like a second roommate, and then I suppose there's maybe two questions. One, can you take over the lease, and then two, if you do take over the lease, can they just do they just mark the lease up to market at that point, or, like, is there a way to get onto a rent control lease after living there for a while? Yes.
I think the perfect time for that to take place was during COVID. And you had more than a leg to stand on. So now it's time to get in the gray area.
Any other questions?
Don't be scared.
Sort of, this, I guess the word is densification. Fulfill, wants from people who want to, rent. That's densification, more, because there's more demand, okay?
Okay.
So I think there's quality living issue with characterization for Santa Monica or any neighborhood community. With that being, if that is a problem, and I go down Culver City and I see these canyons of multi-unit apartments that displace single residences, which I call, a character of the neighborhood, gets some change. I think this approach to concentrating, and where does it stop? Concentrating housing in an area is a problem in itself. I think that our legislators have to look at a bigger picture of where housing is more, I use the word more, blended into the landscape with, of course, employment. I don't think they're doing that. But the way it's going now is we're going to have canyons of apartments because of people wanting to live in Santa Barbara in an area. It's not just Santa Monica, it's all over the state. I'm just saying that's a picture that I'm seeing.
Is there a question?
Maybe you could address the quality of housing in this picture of the quality of housing and the approach that the city is taking for density. Maybe you could comment on what I just said.
So, just for clarity, are you referring to density bonus?
I can't hear you. I have a problem hearing.
Are you referring to the density bonus?
Am I what?
Referring to the density bonus? Are you referring to density bonus?
Density bonus? I don't know about density bonus. I think that's probably, maybe that's a picture. I'm saying the bigger picture is the state mandate for more housing. And that fits into demand. Oh, and that gets into affordability, meaning people who want to live in, let's say, Los Angeles proper, Southern California. It's getting to be densified. It's not just Santa Monica. It's the whole state.
They're not just mandating units, they're mandating affordable units. Affordable units. And
excuse me, let me just say, but economically it works out for more apartments. Well, and housing too, single residential. But usually it's as Culver City, or even here on Lincoln Boulevard, it's going up, losing the sky. Quality of living is
No, she's from the rent board, not planning.
Do you have any influence on that? Quality of living for the renters, for us citizens, because that's part of why people want to live in a place, because of quality of living.
what I'll say to you is this.
Go ahead. I just thought I'd throw it out. I can't hear a lot of stuff that's being thrown out.
Okay.
That's my concern.
Okay. What I will say to you is this. It's mandated by the state. We have to build. We don't have a choice. It's out of our hands. And sometimes because we have so many varied opinions about what we want for our neighborhoods, that as we're going back and forth, sometimes the state will look at it and take it out of our control.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for making time for us this week and always. Next and final is, or final guest, or speaking topic, is on the Santa Monica Conservancy. And I believe Patty and Mario are going to talk about something new that they've developed with respect to touring Main Street. I'll hand the floor over to Patty and Mario.
Thank you. So I'm Mario Fontaminario, I'm the Vice President of the Conservancy, and we have been in Ocean Park for a long time, and hang out mostly at the shopping malls, even though we're like tofu, we're everywhere, all over the city. But our headquarters are actually here in Ocean Park, in the shopping house, which is directly across the street from the Ocean Park Library. And our city has about 150 landmarks, which are preserved buildings. But Ocean Park has the distinction of not only having a lot of landmarks, we also have 3 historical districts, which means there are areas where there are many buildings that are landmarks compressed in one area. It still looks like it looked like in the 1920s, or look the same as it looked like in the 1950s. And those are the historical districts, and they're fun to walk through, and they're fun to look at and try to understand what created this historical district. Why is it here? And we would like to extend that thinking to Main Street, because Main Street is sort of a little bit forgotten by time. In other words, it's gotten a lot more development recently, but there's a lot of parts of it that are still very historically intact. And the history of Main Street is very interesting, how it evolved, how it moved from being basically a suburb of Pacific Ocean Park, which was the equivalent of Disneyland for its time. And so what's left now is just the kind of business section of it, as opposed to the entertainment section. The beach is still there, obviously, source of entertainment, but the Main Street itself is worthy of preservation and keeping its sort of historical integrity. And Patty's going to talk about the Main Street tour that we would like to prepare and roll out in May, at the end of May. We're also trying to do an analogous tour for the 3rd Street Historical District, which is immediately, let's say, south of Ocean Park between 2nd and 3rd Street and Hill Street. That's the 3rd Street Historical area, very historically intact area. So those are 2 areas that we're very interested in, and we would love for you to join us either at the tour or to sign up to become a docent. And yes, go ahead.
Just like to ask you one question, because
Sure.
I know kind of what your background is. Given that the state has said we can build anything anywhere we want for the most part, and there are things that are landmarked, which one, you know, in the court of law would be,
Well,
which one would landmarks be, so I can build anything?
landmarks.
What's it gonna, do you have any, I
Yeah.
don't know the answer, I was just curious.
Well, landmarks are a permanent protection.
Permanent?
A permanent protection until the state decides, not the individual owner, not the planning commission, not the rent control board, but the state would have to remove that protection because it's a state protection, landmarking of buildings. So it would take on a higher authority.
But we're here to talk about something different tonight, and we don't have that much time.
Oh, sorry, I was just curious, I didn't know the answer.
But anyway, it's a good question.
No, he's an expert.
Before Patty steps up, Jerry, did you have a relevant question?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to do the tour of Main Street. Now, are you going to include
Yep.
the little bit of Main Street?
I'm going to tell you all about it.
So let
Let
Patty
me-
present,
let me
and
do
then
that.
we can follow up with
Okay,
Oh, okay, so,
I'm supposed to do this.
oh, okay.
Okay,
I'll pass it over to Patty.
all right, now I am a member of the Conservancy, but I am what is known as the scheduler of all things. They seem to be giving me everything. But, for the past year, I've been talking about the Main Street tour that we've been trying to put together. And thanks to the efforts of Mark Gorman with his, street scene that comes out every week, we have taken pieces of what Mark has found and put together a map, which I actually have. Did you get that? Put together a map that shows where we would like to start these Main Street tour. Now, this is just for one particular tour. We can continue it going the other way, towards Peagle, but this is a tour that is going to be downtown. Dave?
I've got 3 different maps now.
Okay, here we go. So what we did is we created a map and we highlighted areas that had stories that we know are true and stories that we sort of know are true. And well, because we weren't there, we have to look at things and say, we think this is what happened, and we have proof that something like that happened. So what we're looking for is good storytellers. And that's what a tour or a dose is, a storyteller. For these particular tours, 2 tours, the 3rd Street tour and this, we're looking to put this forward at the end of May, beginning of June, starting at the Shotgun House. And I walked this tour with Mark and Caitlin last week. It's about a 1.5 mile walk. Main Street is about a mile, 3rd Street, right? And we have information in this book, for example, about every single stop a storyteller could want. How things were in the order that we conducted tour. But what we need are people who want to do this, maybe once a month, for an hour and a half, taking a group of people around Main Street. You're gonna learn a lot of stuff. I never knew about this. And I've been here 50 years. So you would take someone around, group, and you would tell them the stories. And you would have the information, and you have the pictures, and you train you. Now we're going to start training in early May to have a beta tour done on the 25th and the 26th of both these areas. And we're looking for people who might like to sign up and become a storyteller for Main Street or for 3rd Street, and we'll give you everything you need. So if you think you would like to do this, or if you think you know someone who would like to do this, please let me know, and I'll get to Mario. I'm really easy to get with Patty at yahoo.com, or just ask Sean. And let me know before you leave to sign up, and we'd be happy to train you to do this. Yeah, I heard that. Say thank you.
Hey, can I, on the Main Street, you know, the 3 oldest businesses, there are about 3 that since I've been around. The Circle Bar, the Warehouse, and the thrift store.
They're older ones.
Huh?
There are older ones there.
I don't know. I can't hear.
There are older ones there.
Than those?
Yes, yeah.
Which one?
You'll find out when you go on the tour.
Yeah. I've got all that information.
Tonight's not that night. Jerry, you had a question?
Yeah, I think it's great. I know it's not officially Ocean Park, but it is Main Street. And I think it's interesting because there's some interesting stuff on Main Street.
Well, at
North
Main
of
Street,
Eco, the chain reaction
Well-
culture.
yes, and that would be a different tour
Oh, it'd be different.
because we can only do so much. We're going up to the Crossway to go, where the galley's on one side and but that's as far to, and then we go all the way to Marine. So that's that particular tour, but we can expand it if we, start growing and we have people who want to do it.
Sure.
Because the Piers has a tour, there's a Palisades tour that's run, I think once a year. And then there's the downtown walking tour. There's the Annenberg, we've got a lot of tours. And we're gonna make more.
Any other questions? Reach out to Patty. If you don't have Patty's info, reach out to me. And I'll connect you and you'll be hearing more about this. Thank you, Patty and Mario. Moving on to board business. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my note. First item is from executive committee is talking about location for our monthly meetings. So thanks to a bunch of work from Judy and others, looks like we're gonna have access to the library again. And I believe the Lincoln Boulevard Task Force is meeting there this Wednesday night at 5:30 p.m. This Wednesday is, yeah, Lincoln Boulevard Task Force. And and we'll see how that goes. And if all goes well, we might be able to meet there. Just the May OPA meeting might be able to meet in the library. So we may have a location change. Stay tuned on that. One thing that we wanted to talk about, we had put on the agenda that I don't know if we need to or not, so I'm throwing this out to the room, was we weren't sure if we were going to get Monday access to the library for our meetings. Is that 100%?
Yeah,
Now it's 95% sure.
It's,
Because I
they are out of there by 8:30.
I actually went up there and talked to Andy, who's in charge of this. And he said, yes, if you're doing it once a month, they will open it up on Mondays because we are the association.
So-
And we can go till 8:30.
So I guess the main question is, executive committee had talked a couple weeks about if we can't get Mondays, do we want to keep this monthly meeting on Mondays at locations other than the library, or should we talk about moving it to Wednesday? And this is just contingency planning. Hopefully it's not an issue, but just wanted to throw that out to the floor. If anyone has any strong opinions or thoughts on that.
Monday at the library, Wednesdays.
It depends.
where we can.
It's if Monday at the library turns out to not be an option. Would we rather have it Mondays not at the library, or would we rather have it Wednesdays at the library? That's the question. Anybody? Yeah.
I like the library.
I think Monday's gonna work.
I think
I know,
it's
I just
gonna
want a
work.
contingency plan, so
Yeah.
thinking about it, because we talked about the need to run this by the board, so. Anybody opposed to moving it to Wednesday if Monday turns out to not be an option?
Depending on the Wednesday, I am.
I don't think we need to vote on anything because it's not relevant today. If Monday turns out not to work, we can probably figure this out at the next.
We're gonna
meeting.
actually look into what we are getting into on this
Yeah.
coming Wednesday.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm just thinking about the May meeting.
So
So,
the May meeting, we might not want to go. Just saying. But that we can discuss.
should we discuss now? Or,
Well, the only reason I'm saying about the May meeting is because you're not gonna be here and I'm not gonna be here. And we'll be going into a new location.
Right.
And I'm wondering whether or not that's gonna work for whoever's left.
Yep.
I'm sure we should definitely go in June.
I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts or feedback on it, but stay tuned. Maybe we may not. That's it. But thank you, Judy, for pushing and pushing on trying to get us library access.
Thank you.
Robbie, Patty, anything else from executive committee? Cool. Communications, nothing. specific to report, no major changes in newsletter readership or anything like that. Everything's cranking along, so we'll jump past that. Membership engagement. We're starting to hit a busy time of year. We've got a lot of things coming up on the calendar over the next couple months. In terms of event stuff, we've got a happy hour, April 26th. Still working on the location, hoping to lock that down in the next couple days. Talking about the patio areas of the library, the ale house, or the galley. So working on that, but April 26th, mark your calendar, OPA happy
What
hour,
time?
OPA spring happy hour. I assume it's going to be 5 to 7, but still working on it.
I just want to say that if the galley would not be someplace I'd like to go, they are not very kind in terms of our spending. We ended up spending an hideous amount of money there.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying.
Noted. So working on it, trying to get a library or analyst first, or not. After that, next is Monopoly on May 19th. It's moving to a Sunday this year, so mark your calendar for that. It was a lot of fun last year. Then is our first beach cleanup day on June 9th. Then continuing with the Dave Tan Show, it's Make Music Day on June 21st. Dave's got a busy June.
I'm looking for bands or artists, or duos, trios, even performers.
If anyone has any connections on music groups, please connect with Dave on that. I should also connect you with Jenny from Main Street, who's been doing the programming for the Main Street closures, to see what's possible there.
Yeah.
At what time would you do it?
It's probably 2 to 6.
About 2 to 6, and be at South Lot 1 in Ocean Park.
And actually, Dave's band is playing on the pier next week. So,
Really?
really?
About 10 o'clock.
We haven't had that mountain on the pier since. Is that the monthly, the pier local night? That's the pier locals night.
Uncle's night, 6 to 7.
When you're at.
Read the newsletter, John. Then June 29th is the Pico neighborhood 10th anniversary celebration. No, 100th? 10th.
Yeah.
We've agreed to table at that event. I believe is Dave and Patty have volunteered to spearhead that, but if other people are available, it's June 29th. We're even given, I think we're even being given $150 discretionary for giveaways or whatever at that. Then, of course, the 4th of July parade.
Oh, yeah.
So starting to ramp up event calendar matters. Nothing specific to talk about.
There's the
4th of July yet.
solstice.
Yep.
Which is closing Main Street on, hold on just a minute, I will tell you today.
Yeah, so there's 2 planned Main Street closures this summer. There's the return of Day of the Dog, which I believe is September 7th. And then there's Solstice, which I don't have it in front of me either, but we'll follow up on that. So that's sort of the calendar of the next few months, which is going to start getting, weather's start getting nicer. We're going to have a lot more things going on.
Do you want the membership, Ken?
Before we get to that, any other questions
I
on?
think the solstice is on July 13th.
That sounds right. I remember hearing it was a week after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Any other questions or thoughts on all things calendar? Cool. Membership count.
Okay, so a membership we had in January, February, and March, a total of 9 new members. But what was really surprising is we got 2 more gold memberships. And the business memberships were put out by Sean Iriga.
Okay.
And a gold membership is a business that's going to pay $250 a year to be in OPA. And right now, it's our 3 gold members are the pump
Station.
station, triple,
Triple Beanie Pizza, which is supposed to be opening within a couple weeks,
and the new one, Road.
and Rabano, which is where the old Novel Cafe
He
was.
knows the names, all of this. And we also had a new silver, and that's a $100 and a year. And the bronze, we have 4 bronze, which are $50 a year. So that's how some of the businesses are coming in. We have a membership of 310 with 66 people who are in households. Troy brain just sometimes conks out on you when you start getting old. So that's it for now. Our membership is pretty stable, but I know we're getting more people taking the subscription for the newsletter. That's what, 2,200?
2,100. Yep. Cool. Unless there's anything on membership and events, we'll jump out. Robbie, I don't know if you have anything more to add on Main Street.
No.
John?
Just, when you talk to Hunter, make sure he clearly can justify $5,000. And tell him that, there could be another round of funding available after the next budget cycle.
Cool. When's that? You know?
June or July.
Got it. Cool. Education, Christina is not here tonight. She didn't have anything substantial to report other than sort of end of year and appreciation for supporting the annual night out for Samuel High. Emergency preparedness. Abe, I know we've already heard from Patrick. Thank you for lining him up. Anything additional to add?
Based on that, I'll be sending out, I'm looking for a venue to have a meeting for any of those of you who are interested in being in the committee, and I'll roll that out with Sean through the newsletter when it comes up.
Cool. One of my big takeaways from listening to him is there some sort of cheat sheet or easy way to create sort of access for emergency preparedness kits for people, or something that we can do to make it easy for the thousands of us that are way too lazy to do the real work to have some semblance of preparedness.
Well, there are kits that you can buy.
Yeah.
You know.
I was just wondering if there's something specific to the community or neighborhood that we could think about pointing people to, or doing something so that there's like some actionable, item that people
Well,
can
there
do.
should be a little, for those of us who were here in '94, there's little things that we learned, like, make sure you have shoes under your bed, right? Because if the windows break and it's dark, don't put anything above your bed that most likely will land on you, just little things like that.
Having water
Yeah.
available.
And I'm wondering if maybe there's some sort of a bullet list that we should be sharing in the
There is.
newsletter.
I'll check with Patrick during the week and.
If there's a sort of fun David Letterman style top 10 list of things that people should be thinking about, I think it would be useful for sharing
Yeah, they have that.
more broadly.
They gave it to us who did the training.
Cool.
They probably have it somewhere.
Housing, anything to talk about?
Just
We obviously had Eric and Leslie here. Anything else to talk about on housing front?
Yeah, just to plug, Francis is hosting a forum, and it was highlighted in the newsletter today that Sean sent out. I actually don't have all the details at the tip of my tongue, but check the newsletter. Francis has been an active participant in the housing meetings, and we'll get an email out to see if we can get the next one scheduled.
So, is everyone familiar with Measure GS and what the proposed ballot initiative from Governor Mayor O'Connor is really talking about? So, if you I don't really want to go into detail, but the only thing that's really important is that it's really about carving out an exception for developers who develop a property and sell it the first time, right? So you can basically fund the project, sell it, and not have to pay that. right? If it gets sold the second time or the third time, you pay that tax, right? So that's really what this ballot initiative is. I don't know if people are quite aware of it. I'm sure you'll hear more about this going forward, because I suspect there'll be a lot of money involved in either side of these debates, but that's really what our.
And that's what Francis is talking about, or that's just?
No, that's just on GS. That's
Okay.
something different, right? Because it's been a really big deal in the housing community over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you. Lincoln Boulevard.
There's a meeting tomorrow.
No.
Well, no, Wednesday. It just keeps getting moved up.
I'd like to wait. Meeting is Wednesday, 5:30 downstairs in the library, next to Judy in the library. And we have, what's city official, I think we have two.
Oh, we have two people coming about the Lincoln, one's about the Lincoln plan itself and one's about the intersection of Ocean Park and Lincoln.
Who's coming? We're gonna be discussing, I guess there's a $500,000 that's gonna go towards Lincoln.
Yeah,
Where's that money gonna go specifically?
Do you know who's attending the meeting from the city, or?
I do, but not in front of me.
Okay.
That would have been great.
Jason is one of them.
Jason. Department.
Jason, we know.
Traffic.
Well, if there was to come to me.
He's the boss.
Okay.
He works for a news.
Was
Jason Transportation.
Was the news the other one was covered?
Is it, I don't know for sure, but the plan on Lincoln is the Lincoln plan that, you know, we just need an update on that and what we can do to help it happen. But the Ocean Park Boulevard Lincoln intersection is about changing that intersection, painting, mostly painting it so that it works better. But I don't know what the details are yet, but we'll find out.
Well, also going into the library, if you have a library card, you need to register it, if you want to open the door. Otherwise, I'll be standing at the door and open the
Which
door.
door? I can tell you who's coming to the meeting now. It's Jason Cleveland and Alex Chuck from Public Works.
Okay.
So we're gonna hear from Transportation and Public Works and the money and also Bill.
Well, Mario and I were both at a meeting at the library and they had us come in at the normal door and then just go downstairs.
The normal door?
Yeah, the Norman place.
Across from the shotgun house.
Yeah, well, that's the one that you have to have a.
Well, somebody let us in that
Right.
way, but I don't know.
Well, that's what I.
That's you.
And
Okay.
Jason's title was mobility manager.
Not to jump around too much, but there was a question from Zoom, going back to Patty's membership report of how do we check our renewal status?
They could get in touch with me, or they can just go to, OPA, website and check it. But if they wanna get in touch with me, I can look it up.
Great. Hopefully you heard that, Anastasia or anyone else. Feel free to just
Yeah,
reply to
Anastasia
the,
Foster.
yes.
I think you need to renew it, but let me double.
Sounds like you need to renew, but I'll let you guys follow up on that.
Okay.
Thanks for asking, Anastasia. The network, Judy, anything to report on the network?
The network had a Zoom last night, yeah, it was just last night. And we're making lots of different plans, but nothing is totally concrete right now. There is an ongoing monthly, I think, thing at the middle building of the Church in Ocean Park on Saturdays. And I can look and see what date it is. I think it's this Saturday. This is not a network issue, but yeah, it's at 6 at the 237 Hill. And it's a a meeting that's pulled together just about people meeting each other, and it's not an LGBTQ only meeting. It's lots of different groups.
Anything else from any of the task forces or committees that didn't get brought up?
We finally got the money for their task force.
Good.
Finally. It only took 4 months.
That's quick.
Yeah.
From the first mix.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then let's shift into the treasurer's report. Should I pull up what you sent me?
It would make it easier.
Second that.
Okay, so this is a quarterly report that's coming up.
1 second. You can start talking while I.
Okay, well, in January 1st, our beginning balance was $13,728.16. And on a quarterly report, I basically do things monthly, but putting it together, I'm looking at all of the items that was what we got for funding, income, and our expenses. And so up here, you can see that the dates that we received, the neighborhood grant came to us for $7,000. I applied for that in November. And then PayPal, we have PayPal transfers. We have another grant and membership came on March 26th, and that was a $500 grant that is going to go to the network finally. And membership was also $250, a very large, that was one of the gold memberships. And it was just a check, that's why it's separate from PayPal. And so you can see that our total income was $9,358.30 for that particular quarter. Now, that would put our amount up to, $23,000. However, we tend to spend money. And so I think we need to go down a little bit. These are our expenses. Basically, for our first dinner here in January, their Ralph's and Costco, it came to $117 because we also have to get paper goods. I put the deposit down for the new storage locker and 1 month, that was $525. Then little things like everything is accounted for. Again, another storage fee payment has been done February to May. And you can see for refreshments, we're basically in about the $80 meeting. Lula's came to $174 for our mixer, which wasn't too bad. Marion Insurance is our biggest expenditure. That's for the board. And if we didn't have board insurance, we could get sued on very, very many articles. And again, then we have a donation that we gave to Samo High. So at the end of the quarter, we now have $18,568.30. So we're doing right now, but I'm sure people have ideas how to like this. Any questions or concerns?
Mark.
So, this appears to be a non-interest bearing account.
Yeah, you see interest. It's just a regular business account and the interest is like a month, 11 cents.
It's right there. There's the big money.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, yep. Anything else?
Cool. Do we need to vote on anything with this? It's just, I don't think so, right? I'll give you a second.
To accept it, yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the Q1 finances?
So moved.
Judy nominated, I believe Robbie, you seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, Q1 finances accepted. Christina had sent the March minutes a few weeks ago. Any questions on those minutes?
She does it so quickly
Yep.
and so well.
Yep. Is there a motion to accept the March minutes? Patty, is there a second? Dave, all in favor? Any opposition? Passes unanimously. Now we'll open the floor for any other items. Mark?
Have I seen those minutes on the website?
She does post them on the website, yes. Christina's on it, way more than I or Robbie was.
No offense,
Any open items, anything people want to share, talk about, bring up? Jerry?
Well,
Earth Month.
the church at Ocean Park is going to be hosting a Passover Seder. And they do this every year, and it's really, really good, and it's inclusive, and it's really very interesting. And it's going to be on the 24th of this month in the evening. And that's like the third day of Passover. So that's one thing. And the other thing is we're having our Earth Day Tree Hugging Day event at the Miramar Hotel at the landmark Morton Bay Fig Tree at 5 p.m. on Earth Day, April 22nd, and hope we can spread the word and you're all invited.
Great. Anything else?
I'll just mention, Music at the Pier Locals Night for John. And since Dave Tan's, can playing, we're gonna have,
What's this locals night there?
we're gonna have 2 different stages, on the main deck with music, and in between, there's an art march, there'll be 30 local vendors on various art that they've made.
And that's on April.
Next Thursday, it's third Thursday of every month,
April 18th.
You should be, yeah. Earlier in the day, if you have kids, we have books and cookies and kids singing stuff inside the carousel. And if you want to do some salsa, there's salsa on the west end, salsa west.
Awesome.
I believe that is the lineup for April.
Thank you. I just want to make a plug for anyone that's frequenting the businesses on Main Street. If you have a chance, make sure and give some extra love to those that have joined OPA. Even if you're not buying something, drop into the pump station, drop into Urbano and say thank you for being a member of OPA, or I learned about you because you're a member of OPA. It would be helpful. So, and then soon, hopefully, Triple Bean Pizza as well. Yes?
What is the benefit that they get from joining OPA?
Some of it's just community support. Also, if you join, you do get guaranteed mention in the newsletter with some amount of frequency, depending on your level. And so if Pump Station wants to make an announcement in the newsletter, they have to do that, I think, quarterly.
Thanks.
Yeah. And in the background, one of the things we've been trying to work with the city on is bringing back the OPA card for discounts, but I don't know where there's been no update on that. It's on my to-do list. I've talked to a couple people, but it's just stuck in sort of nowhere land. Patty.
And just wanted to mention that Dave and I did sit through another neighborhood council meeting. And I took notes, and I'm looking at, actually, John Cyrus Smith does the most talking. And he talked quite a bit about the council elections coming up and how they're going to have a forum. And he's hoping that everybody is involved in this forum. The council, and we can't be involved because we're C3s, not C4s. Christine Parra was supposed to be there, but she was unable to come. And there was discussion by John about the homelessness strategic plan and how they're developing it, and they were going to talk to David White. They have a monthly meeting with David White, actually, the whole thing. And, also there was a talk about, the murals, how they're, being, they're taking in, people's, impressions or whatever they want with the murals. I don't know if Conservancy's doing that.
Which murals are you?
Oh, it is City Hall.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Yeah. And then, of course, John had this whole list of spring, summer neighborhood events and outreach programs, which he did. I think you got a copy of that. And actually, it was a little more interesting than the other one. They talked about Proposition 1, how they were going to take a look at trying to get supported housing for these people. But, yeah, I encourage anybody else who would like to sit through to give it a go.
Thank you for attending.
Well,
Anything else?
did I miss anything, Dave? No, okay.
Can I ask a question about Main Street, building that was proposed to tear down at Marine and Main, you know, that building on ground brick building? I mentioned I talked to you about it once, that hole in there, in the parking lot. Okay, you know are you on the historical committee? Can I ask a question about that or?
Maybe,
I
maybe
think-
do that. I think do it afterwards one-on-one, so I think we just had to do it during the meeting.
And I think I know what building you're talking about, but I don't know what they're doing.
What they're gonna do, but she doesn't want me to talk about it.
I think just talk about it afterwards, I think it's time to adjourn. Jerry, last
Yeah,
comment?
I just thought it would be nice if, or I don't know what procedure would be needed, or not any procedure, mostly, to send a, you know, a health wish to a city council member, Lana McGrady, that's gone through some cancer now, and it's pretty stressful, and there's a lot that is happening with that, just to get well wished and to let her know that the Ocean Park Association is pulling for her. Just a short thing, I think would be,
Yeah, that's a nice gesture. If you're not familiar with it, she's been very open about her breast cancer.
yes.
So she's going through. Feel free to follow her on Facebook. She's very, very open about it. And I'll follow up on that.
Right, thanks, John.
I don't think it's something we need to vote on.
No.
All right.
Great. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes. And we do have
Lucy.
food still.
Is there a second? Dave, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Anyone wants something to eat?
Who won the game?
Connecticut is about to win and haven't.
Three slots.